The next speaker is the Honorable El Cacao from the DA.
Thank you, House Chairperson. The ANC has blown any and every right to call itself a liberation movement. I dare say there is nothing positively massive and liberating about your legacy. See, freedom under the ANC's leadership and government means a lost dream, an illusion of success, a perpetual accumulation of whoopsies, and quite frankly, a gangsters disguised as liberation messiahs parade. Nnete ke hore mahlaahlela a rona ha a wa ka 1994. Instead, all that changed is the key holders of the shackles of our lives. Chair, there is no freedom in a land where children suffer and die of malnutrition and in pit toilets, where students have to perform their poverty and desperation every year for access to tertiary education, where 7 out of 10 young people wake up every day to a distant dream of ever finding a job in order to put food on the table. There is no freedom in being born in a rural town such as Jagersfontein and all the other 8 towns of the Kopanong local municipality in the Free State, where access to an uninterrupted supply to clean and drinkable water has been an everyday pipe dream for the last 8 years, simply because no one knows where the money budgeted for water supply and the provision of practically every other service went. Chair, there is no freedom in a land where patients die in their homes waiting for unavailable ambulances and in hospital corridors praying for a bed allocation or a mere glance by a nurse, never mind a doctor. There is no freedom in a land where being assaulted, raped, and murdered with little to no protection for victims by the police, the correctional service, and our judicial system has become a norm. Chair, there is no freedom in a land that cultivates the Thabo Bestas of this world. There is no freedom in a land where corruption, crime, load shedding, the unbearable cost of living, and our failing economy have become ordinary conversation appetizers. See, the bottom line is that not only is the ANC abusive to all of us, but its cadres and self-righteous appointees are across cabinets in all 3 spheres of government, it has broken its vows to serve and protect South Africa. It no longer even tries to hide its lack of respect for the 60 million residents of this country who have done nothing but ask for a caring, competent, and decent government. And so your calls for the celebration of Freedom Month is not only a spit in the faces of the residents of this country, but a spit on the graves of all those who lost their lives fighting for our democracy. And so there is no freedom in South Africa, our land.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Nsangweni.
Thanks very much, House Chair. Greetings to the Commander-in-Chief and to all ground forces of the EFF. Let me say to you, hashtag EFF is turning 10 this year. Chair, the theme of this debate is so removed from the reality of Black people's lived experience since 1994. There is absolutely nothing worth talking about that the ruling elite has done for the millions of disposed, oppressed, and exploited Black people in this country. The ruling elite merely replaced a white minority oppressive regime with a Black majority oppressive regime. When the ANC took over political power in 1994, unemployment rate in this country was 20%, and today it's over 40%. Of people working age are 40% of the people of the working age are unemployed in this country. Since the Black representatives of capital took over political power in 1994, they have had and continuously have no clue to historically responsibly form the liberation movement to chart a progressive political path for the majority of our people. Over the past 2 decades of the country, we have experienced an explosion of crime, such as murder, in this country resembled and are sometimes worse than those of the war-torn countries. For the past 5 years, police crime statistics have consistently reported murder rate averaging 7,000 murders every single quarter. That means that 28,000 people are murdered in this country every single year. And that the majority of those who commit those murders do it with impunity. Knowing that this will never be caught, they will never be caught, those in power have systematically destroyed the capacity of the police system to investigate these crimes. In this country, 50,000 women are raped and sexually assaulted every year. And that number represents only the cases that are reported. There are 1,000 more rape cases that goes unreported and never see the light of day at a police station. What sort of freedom is this that needs consolidation of safeguarding thereof? Is it a freedom of a tiny minority to continue benefiting from the resources of this country while the majority still suffer? Today, 28 years later, and after attainment of political freedom, the ruling elite has done nothing but the noticeable thing to return the land to those whom it was stolen by the settler minority. The state have spent 44 billion on land restitutions alone, and yet they have nothing to show for it. The land is still in the hand of the settlers of racist minority, while African people are, as Saul Plaatje have observed 100 years ago, not merely slaves, but pariahs in the land of their own births. We have witnessed the ANC brutally killing Andres Titani for demanding water and sanitation from the government that voted and was voted in by Black people. We have witnessed the ANC killing 34 mine workers in Marikana in defense of white foreign capital when workers demanded a living wage. My apology. We have witnessed the ANC systematically targeting the leaders of the Abahlali Jondolo in KZN, assassinating them one by one. Thank you, you even know the name much better because it's of your party that are assassinating them. We have seen the ANC destroying all state-owned companies in order to hand these to the white handlers. We do not have electricity today, Honorable Hope, while you are howling here with your 24 votes today because the ANC looted Eskom and did not make any logical investment needed to ensure that there's enough energy to meet the growing economy and social demand in this country. Today, the ANC continue to sell the country to the highest bidder through systematically destroying Eskom in favor on the unreliable and scientifically unstable renewable energy sources. What pact between the ANC and the racist National Party regime provided in 1994 was the continuation of colonial and apartheid forms of social and economic organizations merely under the political leadership of Blacks. It is for this reason that today, the ANC stalwarts, prime defenders of colonialism, the DA, as the worthy coalition for them when they lose next year elections. The people of South Africa have a clear choice to make in 2024. Either continue living under the
Thank you,
ANC
honorable
managed
member.
apartheid government or choose a new path under the EFF, progressive EFF that will take over the union buildings. Aluta continua.
The honorable Sangwa is the next speaker. Order, honorable members.
The
Order,
confusion
order,
is
honorable
running
member.
high in this house, honorable chairperson, because the very EFF that was here is voting with the very ANC in Eguruleni and COJ. Honorable House Chairperson, before South Africa gained her freedom, we saw not only oppression, but also censorship from the apartheid regime,
Honorable members.
who tried to distort the picture the world saw of our country.
Honorable
Media freedom
members.
was hard fought and hard won in South Africa. It would therefore be a travesty if government censorship, like we saw yesterday, when an SABC crew was pulled from covering an IFP event on the instruction of the highest level, should once again become a norm. Any form of censorship is an attack on freedom of press, of expression, and even one could go as far as saying political rights of citizens, as such restricts their access to information needed to make decisions on who to vote for. Honorable members, let us be honest with each other today. Our political freedom is an island in a sea of socio-economic injustice, where the previously disadvantaged are presently disadvantaged. South Africans are free, yet not free. Millions of our people live day by day lives characterized by hardship, much as they did before the dawn of democracy. If we were to discuss the democratic gains of our country, the Constitution's Bill of Rights provides a veritable laundry list: equality, freedom, and security of the person, freedom of assembly, and the right to vote. For Black South Africans living under the apartheid regime, realizing these rights was what motivated them to rise up and fight for freedom. However, the freedoms gained when South Africa became a constitutional democracy, as enshrined in our Constitution's Bill of Rights, are not worth the paper they are written on if the government of the day is not fulfilling its commitment to realize these rights for its citizens. Today, a new regime oppresses our people, and that is of extreme and crippling poverty. All these political freedoms are but an island in a sea of socio-economic injustice. South Africa remains the most unequal society in the world. Almost 30 million South Africans are dependent on grants, be it traditional grants or the 350 rands. This means that South Africa is a de facto welfare state, with half of our population entirely dependent on state welfare. According to a study published in February 2023 by WITS, over 20.6% of South Africans were socially vulnerable and 20.4% were food insecure. That means that 1 in 5 people are at risk of hunger in South Africa. This is why programs such as the National School Nutrition Scheme, bungled by KwaZulu-Natal, as we've all seen, feeding our children rotten food, which feeds almost 10 million children daily, cannot become pieces on a political chessboard. The IFP has acted decisively on this matter, and when the ruling party deprived our children, millions of our children, of their right to access sufficient and healthy food in KwaZulu-Natal. Where there is poverty and hunger, crime is never far behind. While the Constitution may afford our people freedom and security of the person, they are not safe. According to the latest crime stats, 82 people are murdered each day and 135 rapes are committed each day. Crime is further exacerbated by the crippling unemployment, which currently stands at 32.7%. This means that 1 in 3 South Africans do not have work. Adding to the crime and unemployment equation are the never-ending rolling blackouts. When the lights are out, criminals flourish and businesses are forced to close. The situation at ESCOM is yet another legacy of the currently failing ruling party. The entity has been hollowed out by years of corruption and lack of maintenance. Chairperson, in conclusion, it therefore seems presumptuous of us to be celebrating Freedom Day and Freedom Month and gathering here to discuss consolidating and safeguarding democratic gains, when today millions of our fellow South Africans are
Thank you very
agonizing
much.
over whether or
Member.
not they will have a meal tonight. I thank you.
Yeah. The Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Honorable House Chairperson. House Chairperson, the Honorable Hermans is correct. The ANC is a formidable force of destruction. They have destroyed everything they have touched. They destroyed our economy. They have destroyed our safety and security. They have destroyed our state-owned entities. They have ultimately destroyed our freedom. For how can we be free whilst we are imprisoned by poverty, fraud, corruption, poor healthcare, crime, and unemployment? Chairperson, the health of South Africa's constitutional democracy can be measured in terms of the level of political participation of South Africans. Now, when one goes and look at conventional political participation, which is voting in elections, which is participating in political party activities, which is participating in public participation of this parliament, then South Africa's democracy is in trouble. Let's just look at the voting eligible population of South Africa. We declined in 86% of the voter eligible population going to vote in 1994 to only 49% in 2019. The ANC government governs currently with only 28% of the voter eligible population, only 28%. We should do introspection, because more than 70% of South Africans have no confidence in political parties, not only not in the governing party, but in all political parties. 70% of South Africans have no confidence in this parliament. Our democracy is in trouble. And then the Honorable Hermans should not say that we should protect the democratic gains we have made. We are destroying the democratic gains we have made, and especially the ANC government, by fraud, corruption, and destroying the confidence of ordinary South Africans. We should restore confidence in this parliament. We should restore confidence in conventional political participation, which a lot of people fought very hard for. And that's being destroyed by destroying confidence in the institutions of this government. When people feel that they are not being represented in this parliament because of a complete circus and chaos, and I especially look to that side, then we are in trouble. We are in trouble when people feel that they have lost the satisfaction. Public opinion currently is, if you go and look at 2004, people were satisfied. 70% of South Africans were satisfied with basic services delivered by government. Currently, only 41% of South Africans are satisfied. That is a problem. It's delivered by government, Honorable Papu. It's not delivered, it doesn't fall out of the sky, but it isn't delivered by government. That's the problem, because people are living in dire circumstances. People are living without water supply. People are living with very poor sanitation, and that's the problem. The problem is that schools are not providing education. That's why we have unemployment. That's why we don't have a skilled workforce. Government should be replaced with a responsible government. Ons moet ontslae
Thank you
raak
very
van
much,
hierdie
Honorable
Dank u.
Wessels.